Okay, we're on. Hilchos Teffilin Halacha Vav. We are, I believe, in the midst of in the middle of Lamed, right?
No, we finished.
We finished Lamed.
We're starting Lamed.
Okay, we started Lamed Aleph. Hilchos Teffilin Halacha Vav, Siman Lamed Aleph. So after we have explained how this principle of awakening the anava is, is getting the Ha'oras Pnei HaTzadik, the illumination of the face of the Tzaddik, and through this, the greatness is being exposed, and through this, a person gets anova, and the initial innate humbleness of Moshe Rabbeinu that permeates every single ever organ in your body is awakened, which is B'chiras Tchiyas HaMeisim, and Yezoicha to Chaya Olam, which is Chaya Olam, because that's eternal life is when the humbleness is awakened. So this principle we just show how this is manifests itself in the mitzvah of Purim. That Mikra Megillah, the Megillah itself, is the face and the neshama and the seichel of the tzaddik, of Mordechai and Esther, and where the entire avodah was to defeat Haman Amalek, which is the essence of pride, the essence of isness, of like I'll count and everybody else ain't diddly squat, kind of like that's Haman Amalek. So, and then we saw how the whole thing comes through, through the mitzvahs of Purim. So now we're talking about how it's manifests itself in Pesach. Siman Lamed Aleph. V'zeh B'chinas Pesach. Also, the Pesach is also a manifestation of this principle. B'chinas Itzur Chometz v'mitzvahs Achilas Matzah, as we already said before. And to expand a little bit further. Kimor beKavonas Pesach, and the Arizal explains in Kavonas Pesach, Umuva b'dvareinu, that, and we already said before, Sheklal Kavonas Pesach Shu Yetzias Mitzrayim, that the entire Kavana of Pesach, which is the Exodus, which is getting out of Mitzrayim, Hu she'az b'shas Yetzias Mitzrayim, at the time when we went out of Mitzrayim, Ha'ir Hashem Yisborach Aleinu b'chasdoi or Godel v'nifla me'oid. What happened was that at the time when we were in Mitzrayim, in the 49th gates of Tumah, being that it all began with Odom Arishon, with the fiasco at Tzadas, and afterwards whatever it is, and he spilled all the gamma brits that happened for 100 years, and all the nitzotzes, all the klippos fell to the klippos. All the nitzotzes fell to the klippos, and in fact, that's what these sparks of neshamas must be extricated from their jail, so to speak. There's a basic principle in the creation of the world. That in order to avail free choice in this world, Hashem is, there had to be a situation of a breakage, like breaking off from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. It had to be that way. Because otherwise, if everything was just single continuum from Hashem on, there's no Bechira, everything is one. I don't care, if there's infinite number of manifestations, this leads to this, leads to this. If everything is one straight line from Hashem, there's still only Hashem, there's nothing else. So there has to be a certain breakage, that Kivyochel Hashem pulls away and then comes back. And the pulling away has to be in such a way, a breakage that is remediable, but nevertheless it has to be broken off. This particular aspect, this breakage, is called Shviras HaKelim, the breaking of the vessels. That once Hashem created the vacant space, the Chal Hapanai, And and he went away, and then he went in and he created the spheres in it. Once he got the spheres in it, the light of Hashem came into them, and they shattered. They broke. Because Al Pikabol, what it's called those spheres this is called Moichin de Katnos. They were just like primitive spheres. There was only the 10 spheres, and each one was just what it was. In other words, Chesed was Chesed, Gvura was Gvura, Tiferes is Tiferes. That's it. And Moichin de Katnos is it's like a mind of a child. It's either Chesed or Gvura. You can't mix it up. In other words, a child, if it's sweet, it's good. If it hurts, it's bad. A mind of a child cannot combine sweet and bad and hurt and good at the same. A candy is good. It makes hole in the teeth. Well, it's good. He wants it. That's it. This is called moichin de katnas. It's a small moichin. The same thing. A child, to give him an injection is like, whoa, it's the worst thing in the world. It's inoculating him and whatever it is. It's a teva. But the mind of the child is either chesed or this is called moichin de katnas. It's a small as it's constricted consciousness that does not enable the coexistence of two opposite principles at the same time. It can contain it. It's that's why when a child has to get an injection which is good and bad, which is painful and good for him at the same time, he screams and he wants to run away. He breaks apart. If you don't want to give him the candy because it's bad for him, he throws a tantrum. Again, it breaks apart. But this is the principle, begadol, as they say, behind Shvius HaKelim. The first Kelim was simple Kelim, Chesed, Gvur. The light of Hashem shone into the light of Hashem combines all the spheres all together. So the Klei HaChesed could not sustain Gvura in them and vice versa, so they shattered. What happened is that they were all in Olam Atzilus. It was in the realm of Atzilus. Atzilus it's called Atzilus because it's Mamish Baya Kodesh Baruch Hu. It means the Mishnah. That's why it's called Atzilus, the world of emanation. And what happened is that the Kelim fell down. The shards of the Shvius HaKelim, they fell down to the Bina. Now, afterwards, after the Shvira, it's called Olam HaTorah. Then comes Olam HaTikun. The Olam HaTikun is when everything gets rectified. In other words, after it broke, now new Kelim are being created, and the new Kelim already have the capacity, have the elasticity, has the ability to adjust to any kind of spheres within. It's like once a child goes through the experiences, of eating a candy and getting a cavity and having to go to the dentist, whatever it is, which is, then he has to start with consequences, but then he learns the principle that the pleasant could be bad. He gets it, his mind expands. So after the Shvira, it's like they said, En Odom Oimid Al Divrei Torah, Elim Ken Nichshel B'hem. A person doesn't really get Divrei Torah until he falls on them, until he falters. Then, now I got it. So now the process of the Tikkun is the process of extricating the shards, which is Kedusha. This is the Kelim. Getting it out of exile, bringing it up and building the Olam Origins, Olam Atikon, until Bezat Hashem everything is going to come back to Kodesh Baruch Hu, but already having been away. That principle that a direct connection at the very beginning, the indelible natural connection, in order to be everything it can be, there has to be a separation. And then coming back again. Same thing, it's Adam and Chava. They were first, back to back. It says, V'vayit Adam Elokim, and then it says, Zohar Nekeva Bora Oisam. So Bora Isa Adam, and then Bora, first it says Ha'adam, which is a singular, And then he says, male and female created them. So is it him or is it them? The answer is a ha'adam, a them, which means the zochav and the keva, those two together was ha'adam. That was one thing. They were all one totality. But they were a totality that didn't come from choice. It came from nature. You didn't have to look for shidduch, you didn't have to work on your shlom bayis, you didn't have to do anything. That's it. One side was finito la commedia, right? So there's nothing else to do. And Hashem says, "Lo toiv yos odom levadei." It says there's an union of toiv only once there's an aspect of ra. There's no Yeshua, there's no salvation without trouble, right? Everything is okay, You remember the Moshe with the cocoa, right? The kid with the cocoa. There were a few times that there was a kid that didn't speak. For 5 years, didn't speak, not a word. I took him all the doctors, nothing helped. One day, the kid sits by the table and says, the cocoa is lousy. They freak out. You can talk, the kids can talk. So how come he didn't say anything? He said, well, up to now everything was okay. Why should I talk? I was like, everything's okay. So I said, up to now everything is okay. There's no reason to talk. There's no, without problem, there's no Yeshua. Without bad, there's no good. Because I see the advantage of wisdom over stupidity. Like the advantage of the light from within darkness. When you're all the time in the light, you don't appreciate the light. But when you're in darkness and you go out the light, now you get it. Now you know what the light really means. It's like people don't appreciate, while they're young, their good health. I was always healthy, It's like and you can abuse it. You can do whatever you want. You smoke, you this, you that, whatever you drink, you abuse it, and it never raises any issues. You get away with it. Well, you don't realize that after age, you can do this usually up to age 50. Then all the chicken come to roost. All the checks you wrote out are coming now to the bank. Every single cigarette you ever smoked, every abuse you ever abused your body, everything comes to roost after age 50. Then it's time the whole thing.
About early bird special.
Yeah, that's no, but I'm saying the point is that you don't appreciate while you have it. Yeah. So the thing is that there has to be an avoidance, a separation. And when it's separated, it breaks. And when you come back, then you appreciate the good all over again. So I'm Israel, so Adam Rishon, and this is a process that repeats itself again and again and again and again. This is what we said in Adam V'Chava. There had to be a Nesira. Kodesh Baruch Hu put the person to sleep, and then they had a Nesira, cut them in half, in the back. He fixed up the backs. Now they both had backs. And then they turned to each other, and man says, הפעם בשר מבשרי, עצם עצמי, בשר מבשרי, now you're a bone of my own bones and flesh of my own flesh. Let's go out for coffee for aroma. Do you want to get married? Maybe I can talk. Okay. So what?
A basho.
Yeah. So it's only then they become one again, but they come back. They become one again from choice. Not from that's the way things are. So this process of separation and choice and coming back is the essence of perfection all the time. That's the way the Bria goes. Ad kedei kach that it all starts that the world was created to be separated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is a b'china of dying. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is eternity. He's Netzach. He's everything. Separating from this is separating from life. It's a b'china of Misa. I don't care how long you live. And then the ignorance of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, spiritually, getting down a madreg is called death. Because anything spiritual is eternal. 2 + 2 is always 4, forever. It's beyond time. because it's a spiritual essence. Any spiritual essence never dies. But going down a madrega is called death. Spiritually, it's called death. That's why Shviras HaKelim, when they went from the realm of Atzilus to the realm of Bria, is called Misas HaMalachim, the dying of the kings.
That's the whole.
Vayimloch Vayomot. The Arizal says that there's a, there's a when Arizal one time he was napping on Shabbat, and he was mumbling, and one of his talmidim was there. He wanted to hear what he was saying. So, while he was doing it, Arizal woke up. So the Talmud, told me, that you were telling us. Arizal said it would take 80 years for me to explain what was revealed to me now about this inyan of Misas HaMalachim. And it says, after, with the history of Esav, all the Malcha Edom, the kings of Edom. This one, and Vayimloch Vayamos. So he says, and that's the breaking of the vessels. Because spiritual, when you go down a madrega, it's called like you're dying. That's enough misa. So stepping away from Kodesh Baruch Hu is misa. The whole purpose is that the man, through his choice, will bring the entire bria back to Kodesh Baruch Hu by choosing good, by choosing Hashem. So then, this is a principle which Rabbeinu mentions a few times in the Likutei Moharan. Is called making the equalizing after the bria to the situation of before the bria. Before the bria, everything was one. After the bria, it becomes two. When man returns the bria to Kodesh Baruch Hu, it becomes one again, but it's 2.0. That's upgraded oneness. It's a oneness in which the Malchus Kodesh Baruch Hu was already revealed. So this is a whole new level of perfection. And Rabbeinu brings us from the Tikkunim. It says Av ben Kechada, that the father and the son become one. A whole very, very deep turn in the Likutei Moharan, in which Av is before the bria, Ben is after the bria, and become one. Yeah. Yosef ben Shoshana, bevada. We are learning. This is, yes, you're talking about the benefit, refuah. What are you doing? Refuah. Well, refuah, we also learn for the benefit, to break down the thing that they're trying to, put a fried guy over us in the municipality. So, we have to, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll learn in the schus that B'ezrat Hashem will break it down, so it shouldn't work for them. But this is Mimele, that principle is the breakage happened initially by Adam Rishon in the breakage that happened by him, and all his Tipa Yismayach that spilled went to the Klipos. This is a parallel to Shviras HaKelim. And Mimele, if you want to go down to bring the klip, the neshamas from where they are, you need to go down there, right? So that's the whole sod of Yaakov Avinu going to love and cheating him and the whole thing, and ultimately there's a sod of Israel going to Mitzrayim. So first of all, we had that principle with Sarah Imenu going with Avram to Mitzrayim, and Parah capturing her, and she broke him, and he couldn't touch her. And with this, she gave the koach, when the Am Yisrael will come down to Mitzrayim, they'll be able to come out again. Because you have to understand, falling down is not a game. Falling down is not a game. There's a person can find himself falling into a situation. He's like yay close to being lost. Maybe you're more. Huh? A person can fall to a situation. That's when he lost it. I'm saying a person can come up. Yeah. That's like a person can come. Yeah, it's a good. Is it? Rabbeinu said that a person for a pleasure of quarter of an hour can forgo this world and the next one. That's the sikha. So I mean, it's like, but the point is that a person can find himself in such depths that it's a hairbreadth from oblivion. That's it. You like finish the whole thing. So this is so Rabbi Yaakov Shechta said that's the secret behind that ger that came to Shammai and Hillel. So he came to Shammai and he said, "Lamdeni kol haTorah k'shani omed al regel achas." Teach me the entire Torah while I'm standing on one foot. So Shammai pushed him almost a binyan shebeyoda. He pushed him with the level, that thing that you use to see if things are straight. In the olden days, what you used to have, they didn't have the levels, but they had a string with a weight, and that would tell him. It's called almost a binyan. That's the thing that tells you if things are straight. And then he went to Hillel. Hillel says, whatever it is that you hate, don't do it to your friend. And that's the basic. That's the entire Torah. While you're standing, al regel achas, while you're standing on one foot. That's a synopsis. That's a summary of the entire Torah. The rest you can just go and learn. So the Ger said, the kapdanusoi of Shammai, almost drove me out of this world. And the anvatnusoi of Hillel, the anov of Hillel, was mekarav me. So Yaakov Shechta said that the secret, one of the secrets obviously, that behind this episode is that a person has to go through this world with an amazing amount of trials and tribulations, ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. And it can become exhausting. It's just, okay, let's say that you survive it. Yeah, you survive it. But it's just like, you just want to go to sleep. Forget about the whole thing. Leave me alone. It's like, take it. Leave me alone. It's like, and not only this, but the thing is that if only after coming from the low, you go like, good, I came out of the low. It's not that. You come out of the low, you get a 2x4 smack in the face. What happened? Because when you are in emergency mode, in Hebrew it goes, it says shrir, you're holding a muscle. You're like, you're holding it, don't let it fall, don't let it fall, let it fall. So you have all kinds of reservoirs of energy, of koyach, of resiliency, all over your, spiritual, physical, whatever it is, and you're holding it, and you're borrowing from everything you have. Just hold that thing on, because hey, it's a do or die, right? When the emergency over, all those places, they want their koyach back. You borrowed it, we also need to live. So suddenly you're totally depleted. Sometimes, when you're in crisis, in the crisis mode, you can, you're holding on. There's no problem. When the crisis is over, you feel like you want to die. That's it. Like all the air went out of the balloon. I'm sure it never happened to anyone here. But, it does happen sometimes. So the point is that, he came to Shammai and said, let me learn the entire Torah. Let me go into Yiddishkeit, al regel achas, just going up, without this what do they call it, the cycle, what's it called? The roller coaster of ups and downs. Regel achas, leave me alone. So he pushed him, said it's impossible. He said, but almost binyan shebeyada. He says, that's the way that the world is built. That's the basic principle and the structure of the world. What can you do? You cannot defy that. You have to go through this. So when you are in down, or when you're spent, when you have no bandwidth left, as they say, that's not going to carry the way. That's not going to carry you through. So he came to Hillel, and what Hillel told him was like this. Rabbeinu said in Sefer Amidas that Yesh Inyan Shedechem Odom B'Shamayim B'Chavona, that they push a person B'Shamayim that he falters. He can do a various, he falters, whether he wants to or not. Why? Because there are many reasons, of course, but one of the reasons are that when you go down to a certain madrega, it's because there's somebody that is from your shorish, which is your shorish neshama, which is there. And he's imprisoned there, and he cannot get out. He cannot get out because he doesn't know that there is an out. You know, like a fry guy. That's life. What do you want? It's like a, or things like this. And there's no way he can get out. Because if you don't know that there's a out, where is there to go? I mean, it's like, I remember there was a very popular a woman who was a radio, whatever. No, she was very popular. She committed suicide, Hashem Yachim. And I was like, somebody should have called her and told her, it's like this Yiddish guy, whatever it is, she would have laughed him off. It's like asking a deaf person, what does he think about Beethoven? I don't know, it looks funny with the hair like that. So the only way this Matir Asurim is when you fall down to that Madrega. You fall down there, and you hold on, and you get yourself out. You are like a magnet that falls down to anybody and everything, which is your shosh neshama. And when you eat, you extricate the kedusha which are in the food. You are, a nitzoitzes magnet is what you are. When you fall spiritually to a certain madrega, what you do is you pull that person out of his quagmire. He'll told him, you're a ger, or Baal Tshuva, or whatever. How do you think you went out of your jail, of your solitary confinement? You didn't know such a thing exists. You had no notion. I mean, you heard this Yiddish guy, I don't know. It's like hearing on the Himalayas, there's like a fakir or whatever it is sitting on top of the money bar. It's like, it doesn't mean anything. You don't know anything about it. How did you get out of this? How did you become to discover Yiddishkeit? Because another person fell down to where you are.
Nudged you,
And he went out, so he took you out. So somebody did it for you. Right? Well, do it for your friend. Do it for that person who is jailed there. Somebody did it for you. You're doing it for someone. What you hate, he also hated it. That's what you hate. Do it for you, beseder, you hate it. Do it for him. Somebody did it for you. This you can go. You're doing it for somebody else. This you can go ahead. Am Yisrael came down to Mitzrayim. That means it's not a principle. You go like, okay, let's take out, and it takes us out of the klippah. That's very funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It feels like you're dying because you're actually dying. Spiritually, you die. That was the story of Am Yisrael going down to Mitzrayim. They had to go dafka into the klippos, and it was not funny. The children were cemented into the pyramids.
To take those sparks that never had any hope to come out.
No, there's no hope to come out. You had to go down there to take them out. But the thing is that the down is so ironclad. It is so tough, so impossible, maximum security prison, impossible to get out of, that the Kodesh Baruch Hu had to do a total shinui ateva to get the neshamas out. And this is what he did. כך כבר פסח של יציאת מצרים, שאז בשעת יציאת מצרים, העיר השם יזברך עלינו בחסדי אור גודל ונפלא מאוד, שלא בדרג ושלא כסדר. Just bam, just opened up the spotlights, not keseda, not nothing, just everybody out, because there was no way, choice and with this and that to get them out, because they were yay close to Shara Chamisha of the Tuma, which is Apikosis, and they would never get out of there ever. That's it. That's the end of Am Yisrael, and Memela, the end of the world.
I think I read in Hilchot Pesach that Rabbi Nathan says that's why we do a Seder, because everything was look Seder and we had to put it back in order. So
Yeah, the whole sphere
the whole
is
Seder
afterwards.
Pesach is for that.
That's,
To go back to what you were saying before,
It's
you're
like-
saying the reason why
I shouldn't turn everything.
somebody can be about the truth.
you have to say it a bit louder.
You're saying the reason why, I'm just trying to clarify what you were saying before. The reason why somebody can be a Baal Teshuvah and get out of a place where they can't see the light of Hashem and the light of Torah is because somebody went down to that level to get here.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody became fry and then became from. It can mean that as well, but not necessarily. It's enough that somebody is El Chayid at a certain point in time felt like he lost his emunah.
And he fought, and 6 months later,
And whatever it is, it's 6 months or a day later, it doesn't matter. And then he got back again. That means that he visited that place and he went out,
But he
and
took-
that takes the other person out.
took some sparks with him.
He's from Yosh Shami. You see, Torah and Vav and Likutei Rabbi says that you're connected to all kind of people, overtly and covertly. Overtly you can say, you tell them what to do, they do. But covertly is that you don't know who they are, they don't know who you are, but you are interconnected underneath the surface.
Why would my descent and Aliyah help somebody else when
Because-
Jewish people have already been to Shah HaMashiach? They've already gone down there.
Beseder. Because all the time the tikkun is beklolius and proteus and is generally and then specifically and more specifically and more until everything will be fixed totally. Then everything is. Rabbeinu said that ultimately when the Geula will come, Mashiach will come, and we'll get the proper das, we will see that all those thousands of years of Gaulas were actually only one day. It was all one day. This is all fictional. It's all a state of mind.
This comes to, we see the greatness of Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu, Am Yisrael didn't fall into Epicorsis when they were in Mitzrayim. Epicorsis was like, Moshe Rabbeinu came and took them out of the, but in this generation, Rabbeinu says that there's going to be a model of Epicorsis, so we're
That's right.
in the model of Epicorsis. So Rabbeinu, who's like, he's even attacking the Epicorsis.
That's right, and that goes with the tikkunim of Shimon Bar Yochai. That's why the Isgalus from Yesod Agdula Satan Oki of Shimon Bar Yochai comes before Torah Aleph, because that's the shoirish with which you are megala the astor b'toch hastorah.
So you're saying Rabbi Nachman is greater than Moshe Rabbeinu?
No,
What are
it's
you
the
saying?
same thing. It's Moshe.
I'm just trying to
He's doing
understand.
that type of job.
no,
He's
no,
saying
I'm not
he's
pulling my
doing-
punches anymore. I'm just going to
No,
ask the question.
he's doing that type of work. The same
He says
type of
no,
work.
it's not doing that type of work. It's a revelation of this. It's all the tzaddikim there are all revelation of Moshe Rabbeinu himself. That is Moshe Rabbeinu. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is Moshe Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu is Moshe Rabbeinu. Arizal is Moshe Rabbeinu. Mashiach himself is Moshe Rabbeinu. As the Zohar says, "Ma shayahu she'ir, Rashi Tevis Moshe." It says, "Ma shayahu she'ir," that which was will be. The Zohar says this is Mashiach. Ma shayahu is Rashi Tevis Moshe.
And it says
This is all revelation of the same neshama. It's not that this person was greater than that person. It's not two people. It's one. It's a second revelation of the same neshama.
So who's Moshe Rabbeinu? So who's Moshe Rabbeinu now?
Rabbeinu said that until Mashiach will be no chadoshes, but Mashiach will be the new one. He will be the culmination of everything together. That will include everything. It says these kind of questions of who is greater than whom and who is this and who is that, always lead.
I was asking.
No, I understand. It always time being that our minds are so constricted. It's like asking the question, can Hashem create a stone that's so heavy you can't lift it? I got you. There's something, you come with a small-mindedness and trying to fit the Kodesh Baruch Hu into it. You're trying to fit we don't understand any of these things that I just told you. I don't know what the heck I was talking about. I just know that this is this. But what it really is, I don't have a saga. and neither do you. Maybe you do.
I
I don't want to say. I don't. But all I can tell you is that when you get into these inyonim, it's like being a football fan. My team is better than your team. You know, that my Rebbe is bigger than your Rebbe, and your Rebbe is bigger than my Rebbe. And no, my Rebbe looked at your Rebbe and he laughs, you know, ha, ha, ha. He looks at your Rebbe.
It reminds me of like
Yeah, you know, it's a big Shabbos, small Shabbos. It's like,
it reminds me of a 6-year-old watching like soccer, and he thinks that the whole point is he doesn't really know about strategy. He doesn't know about anything, and you know, like you're a 6-year-old watching a game.
it's like the song that used to be in the 50s. You know, my girl is really hot, and yours ain't diddly squat. You know, there was actually a song like that. You know, that's so all it is. You know, that's mine. So it's the best. Yours is nothing. Let's not go into.
I don't believe I was going. If I'm brutally honest, I don't believe there's a connection between asking a question about can Hashem pick up a stone to trying to understand the hashgacha of Breslov. I don't think there's any connection between what I said and what you just said.
No, I understand. The only thing that I mentioned, I gave that in of the stone. I just wanted to bring to light a sense where when the kelim of the moach are limited and constricted, things can seem as a paradox, or things can mean that this doesn't fit together. These kind of questions, Rabbeinu is greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. These are the kind of questions. These are the kind of questions that can only lead to the, hey, he said that, he said, which is nonsense. We don't understand b'chlal what is going on here. We just know that Baruch Hashem, now the world is in a state of tikkun, that even those that fall into Astor Shabatoch Astor, they also can be gotten out. So in other words, the tikkun at the time of Moshe Rabbeinu was such that, as he said, that in 49 gates of Tumah, you can get, if they would have fallen to the 50th, but nevertheless, once they got out of there, now you can get them out also the 50th as well. But initially, if they would have fallen to the 50th, nothing would have helped. So everything is resting on, that initial tikkun of Moshe Rabbeinu, and the ultimate tikkun. So all I'm saying is that let's try to stay away from these kind of declarations and that will just, they're just mind pretzels. They're not really kashas. As Rabbeinu said, this is kashas echal apani. Nevertheless, you should ask whatever it is you don't know. You should ask what you don't say. You should ask. I'm not trying to shut anybody out, but at least not consciously. But we need to understand, what our limitations are, and in Breslov, it's very prevalent. My girl is hot and your Andy Lisquat. It's a very and without even knowing why. It's just because he's my Rebbe. He's the best. Why? Because he's the best. But do you know how big the other one is? You don't know. You don't know anything. But it's like esprit de corps. It's like a core, the team spirit. It's like this is us. We're the best. We're like, whoa, man, check it out. No need. There's no need. Baruch Hashem, there's enough. That it is clear to me, and with this I'm putting myself out to attack by anybody. It is clear to me that, especially when you take a look at what's going on, I'm not even talking about the Freibelt. Obviously I'm not talking about the Goyim. I'm not talking about the Freibelt. I'm talking about the Frum world, the religious world, and even more so in the Haredi world. Everybody is waiting for Mashiach. Everybody is waiting for Rabbeinu because things are alapanim. It's just like, totally bankrupt. It's chapter 11 for everybody involved. We need Mashiach. And all I can tell you is that from what I saw since I came to Breslov, in my own personal experiences, the one thing that Rabbeinu gives, I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about what Rabbeinu gives, is a fresh, immediate, real approach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Avodas Hashem is your thing.
It's tangible.
It's your thing. You are serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Rabbeinu brings. You are serving Hashem. Rishmi Hashanai, whatever it is, you are serving Hashem, you have a personal relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This, without Rabbeinu, is non-existent. I'm telling you from experience, and I saw it, and I was involved with it, and this is what Mashiach will bring even more so. Because what is Lashon Mashiach? What is Mashiach? Lashon Mesiach Ilmim. Mashiach will open up the mouth of every single Jew to talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The tikkun of Breslev is not a Hasidus. It's not a team. Breslev is a tikkun. And this is what the so I'm going out on a limb. I'm waiting for everybody to attack me. How dare you? Blah blah blah. Whatever it is. This is what Rabbeinu is all about. This is what Mashiach is all about. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're waiting for. So now, B'ezrat Hashem, we hardly even made any.
Just finish the paragraph. At least finish the paragraph. Huh?
Okay. It says, Hashem Yisborach yir b'or b'godol v'nifla moed, shelo b'droim shelo keseder. Ki b'lo ze lo efshar ligel, mechmat shenechaz b'hem zumas Mitzrayim meod. Without this, it was impossible to be saved from Mitzrayim. Being that the filth of Mitzrayim grabbed onto them. V'im ken haya oros ha-moichin nichasim keseder kedakon tamid. Because if the moichin would come, the process of learning would have gone the way it always does. Shenichnosin tchila moichin de katnus. That first you learn a little bit. And then moichin de gadlus, moichin going to come afterward. Lo yeshar go l'klal. It will be impossible to get out of Mitzrayim b'chlal. Ki klipos nechazim moichin de katnus. The klipos would grab onto the moichin de katnus with all kinds of kases. Shemisham achizosam, they come from moichin de katnus. Ki haya zomas Mitzrayim nechaz b'hem arbeaz. But again, the filth of Mitzrayim was grabbing onto them, with great strength. It will be impossible to get out. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is just like, we won the lottery. As far as Moichin is concerned, bam, you got the whole thing. $400 million. From being a hobo on the Bowery, you got $400 million in a day. Boom. And from the might of that light, they were redeemed immediately. And this is the totality, the kavanas of Pesach, and you should take it over there. We'll continue. Would you kindly shut the